Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and today we're going to be discussing who we believe could be possible contenders for the second DLC Fighter Pass for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And before we get any further, I just want to say this is Smash and Sakurai, so this is only a bit of fun. At the end of the day, almost anyone is a possibility. Because yes, it's Super Smash. Just seriously, do not, if a character you love is not included in this video, it's nothing personal. I asked some people online, I asked on the community tab as well, in fact, do it. And I did some of my own research and digging, but none of this is based on any evidence whatsoever. It is just pure speculation, nothing serious. Don't take it seriously. We're just having a bit of fun. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. Oh, actually, I want to randomize my list because I like that. Hey, bow. Oh, I actually hit it. Good stuff. The randomized list has spoken. We are first going to be talking about Sora from Kingdom Hearts. A series I've never played, oh dear. This is one that gets bandied around a lot. You see it a lot online. A lot of people, or at least a fair number of very loud people, want Sora to be in Smash, and that's understandable. You know, it's kind of a Final Fantasy type thing, and people are like, hey, I like Sora and the Keyblade and wah wah wah, and Disney characters. That's the problem, Disney characters. Sora doesn't have to be there with Disney characters, of course, but it's kind of integral to the whole Kingdom Hearts type thing. You know, you got your Donalds, you got your Goofs, and you've got the other characters. I haven't played it. I do think it's entirely possible that Sora could be in it, but at the same time, there's just the whole Disney side of things. I don't see Disney being fast and loose with their characters in that sense. Having said that, the characters are already in Kingdom Hearts, so who knows? What I could definitely see though, Mii Fighter costume. There's gonna be a number of those in this because it's a very simple way of going, oh, well, maybe no, but for Mii Fighter. Master Chief. Yeah, this is another highly requested one that loads of people have been saying, or at least, again, a good number of people have been asking for. Master Chief, I think, is slightly less likely than Sora simply because Halo is fairly big over here, but in Japan, Halo, from what I understand, is almost non-existent. And yes, Sakurai, you know, has done, you know, a number of Western characters, things like King K. Rool and Banjo-Kazooie, and Bayonetta was the #1 choice in the Smash ballot in Europe for some reason. So whilst it's not impossible, it's not even really, the Xbox isn't really even a thing in Japan. I mean, yeah, it's there, but it sells like 100 units a week. I remember seeing the Japanese charts and being like, oh boy. But you know what? Could make a pretty good Mii Fighter costume. Oh, it's a big boy. It's Gino. Gino. How likely do I think Gino is to be in? You know what? I think he's actually pretty damn likely. He's a character at the moment that I think is still technically owned by Square. Well, Square Enix now, but Square at the time when he was created. But even so, you know, we've had Mii Fighter costumes of Gino. I mean, was that in Smash 4? It was definitely in that. Is it in Ultimate as well? I don't know why I'm looking at my screen. Either way, it seems that there are no issues with licensing the character's likeness, so I think it is entirely possible that Gino could be in, and lots of people have been asking for him for a long time. He could indeed have a really unusual and unique moveset, and you know, RPG, you know, Sakurai seems to like RPG characters and giving them 4 billion moves, so why not? Yeah, likely. Travis Touchdown. I'm not so sure on this one. I really do like the No More Heroes games. I've got #1, I haven't played #2, but they are really stylish and fun, and they were very much kind of, well, they stand alone. They're extremely unique, and Travis himself is full of character, so it'd be easy also to translate that into a moveset, but I'm just not entirely certain the character has the clout, at least in the public's view. You know, I mean, you know, you may well have heard of No More Heroes and Travis Touchdown and stuff like that, but you're watching this video, so you're probably a fairly finger on the pulse kind of lovely person. I just don't see the popularity, honestly. But again, could be a pretty cool Mii Fighter costume. Skull Kid. For ages, we thought Skull Kid was going to be in Smash Ultimate because of 2 chairs. That was crazy times. Unfortunately, I don't see Skull Kid as being very likely. It's Skull Kid with Majora's Mask on, obviously. I just don't see it. I would love it to death because I'm a big fan of Majora's Mask, but I sort of feel like if, you know, he's not in it already, it sort of seems like a strange character to release later on. Again, I'd absolutely love to be wrong. He's also an assist trophy, and I still don't think that cancels it out because it's Smash Ultimate and Sakurai. But I just don't see this one being that likely. Be a bloody good Mii Fighter costume though. Ring Fit! This isn't, you know, like the Ring Fit Runner or anything. I think it would, you know, but the Ring Fit Runner with Ring. The Ring. I honestly think this one is moderately likely, you know. Ring Fit Adventure has been a huge success, like absolutely enormous. It's sold out everywhere, and considering that it's a fairly pricey thing, you know, 70 quid, what is it, like $80 or $90 or probably $70 knowing Arlo. Massive variety of moves to pull from, you know, I mean, they made Wii Fit Trainer a fighter. They can do it with this one. It's first party as well, which, you know, helps out enormously. Yeah, I can easily see this happening. Sam Porter Bridges, if you don't know that name, which understandable, it's a very recent game. Death Stranding's primary protagonist. Yeah, you know what I think the biggest hurdle would be, honestly? Getting the license to use Norman Reedus' likeness in another game. It's not impossible, and of course legally it can be done, but even so, Norman Reedus is a fairly big name, and I can see that being a bit awkward. And also you've got the angle that he's not really that much of a combative type of person. I don't know how much you know about Death Stranding, but there's not an awful lot of fighting that goes on. There's bits and pieces here and there, pip, pop, 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 but not a huge amount, and you're mainly fighting things that aren't human, or at least sort of not anymore. It's also a very recent thing. Sakurai has expressed that he really likes Death Stranding, but yeah, it all seems a little bit too recent, really, and considering there's not a huge deal of sort of like movement options from the pool, not very combative character. I know they've done it with stuff like Isabelle, so it's by no means cancelling it out entirely, and it's still possible, but make a damn fine Mii Fighter costume. Dante. Yeah, it's very likely. You know, we've been seeing bits and bobs all around, you know, very popular character historically and currently, and yeah, hugely likely. Dante, I would say, is not so much a dead cert. If anything, the thing that's thrown it out for me from being like a dead cert to just being like highly likely is the fact that everyone was saying, he's gonna be Fighter 5, Fighter 5, Fighter 5. Oh, it's you! Bandana Waddle Dee, or Waddle Dee, whatever you want to say. Honestly, no. Honestly, I just don't think the character's got enough personality as a sort of a character, combined with a limited move pool, and I mean, we've had piranha plants, so just using you know, like an enemy is not out of this world, but I don't know, it just doesn't strike me as obvious, and I know the Smash Ballad, loads of people were going Bandana Waddle Dee and all that sort of stuff, but no, I'm sorry. Don't even think it could really be a Mii Fighter costume. That's because it's too small. It could still be a Mii Fighter costume. Rayman, the man with no arms or legs but still feet and hands. The classic tagline. I think he's pretty likely overall. Yeah, I mean, you know, Ubisoft and Nintendo have got a really strong relationship with stuff like Mario and Rabbids happening. Rabbids are soon to be in Smash Ultimate as well as everyone's favorite Mii Fighter costumes. Huge move pool. Pretty self-explanatory, honestly. Yeah, highly likely. Shantae. Oh, I like Shantae a lot, I really do. A lot of moves that you can draw from, big move pool potential, but I just don't think that Shantae is quite as big a character as a lot of people think she is. I'd love to be wrong because I'm a big fan of Shantae's games and stuff like that, but at the same time, I just sort of think that maybe she's slightly too small a character. Again, but personally, I'm just not, you know, sort of absolutely convinced that she could be a fighter in Smash. Again, I'd like to be proven wrong, and what I say doesn't really matter. Well, it doesn't matter, but that's just my feelings about it. Just make a damn fine Mii Fighter. Steve from Minecraft. This is a biggie, and this is one where I think I'm on the other side of the fence to a lot of people. I don't think it's hugely likely. Yes, Minecraft is an enormous game, and I'm not saying that, sort of Minecraft does not deserve or does not warrant representation in Super Smash Bros., but I just don't think it's kind of too faceless an avatar. I mean, even characters like Byleth are a little bit sort of nondescript because they're designed to be these sort of silent protagonists, and that's fine, you know, Byleth, yeah, it kind of works at first party and all that, but I just don't. There's just something about Steve as a character that just does not scream Smash to me. Yes, loads of potential for, you know, sort of movesets and stuff like that. I just think it's way more likely that he's gonna be a really tasty Mii Fighter costume. About time we got some more damn swordsmen. Geralt from The Witcher. Yes, a very adult character, very adult game series overall, and a little bit sort of maybe a bit too gritty and a little bit too hardcore. And yeah, I don't see Geralt being really that much of a contender. I mean, you've got to imagine Geralt jumping, and if you've ever jumped in The Witcher, you know. I don't think the adult nature of the character is inherently something that prevents them from being a fighter, because we've got, you know, characters like Bayonetta is very sort of overtly sexual and stuff like that, so just going to a character who just, you know, slices some people in half sometimes, it's generally okay. But I think it's maybe partly because The Witcher is a very broad thing. It's not just, you know, a video game, it's so many other things as well, you know, originally books, Polish books, which I found was out relatively, well, a couple of years ago. That was fun fact. But all in all, I don't see Geralt as being terribly iconic, a little bit like Altair from Assassin's Creed, so you know what I'm gonna say, yeah, he'd make a damn fine Mii Fighter costume. Toxicity from Pokemon. Honestly, if we're gonna get a Gen 8 Pokemon, as much as I'd love it to be Rilla Boom, because I prefer Rilla Boom overall, Toxicity seems to be the most likely one. There's always, every single generation, there's always one bipedal Pokemon that everyone goes absolutely bananas for. That wasn't a Rilla Boom pun. And this time around, it's Toxicity, and you got the two different forms. They could be like alternate costumes. I mean, this stuff writes itself. Honestly and truthfully, mega likely, in my opinion. I think if we're gonna get another Pokemon, it's gonna be Toxicity. You heard it here. Probably not first. Oh, I really want Doom Guy in there, but I don't think it's enormously likely. There is so much they could do with Doom Guy, so much to actually... A lot of people have said, he's too violent, he wouldn't fit the idea of Smash, but I think that's nonsense. I think he could fit in fine. They could probably do something fun with that, you know, play off the fact that he's usually a really violent character and he can't be in this because, it's Smash. For some reason in my head, I've always imagined one of his taunts being holding a watermelon and just ripping it open like that. I think that would be fun. It would be a fun little nod. I still don't think it's terribly likely, because as far as I'm aware, Doom is not huge in Japan. Again, could be entirely wrong. I'm not in Japan. And also, the adult thing again is kind of a barrier. I mean, I don't think it should be, and I think if there was a character that really warranted it, I'm not saying Doom Guy is, you know, completely impossible, just saying unlikely. Waluigi. Honestly, I think he's really likely now. It's been going on for so long, there have been so many memes, and Sakurai is hideously aware that people want him in. He has a big move pool. I just think it's reached the point where it's almost beyond a joke, and, you know, people were saying the same thing about things like Banjo and Kazooie, and, you know, King K. Rool and Ridley, you know, it was all this sort of loads of people were saying yes, and everyone was saying no because X reason, and Sakurai went, ha ha ha, we found a way. And of course, first party means more likely to get in there. Mario's massive. The memes would go wild. Imagine if they did that at E3 this year, just, you know, sort of boom, Waluigi going, wah! That would be something to behold. Crash Bandicoot. Honestly, another pretty likely one overall, I would say. Big third-party character. Who owns Crash Bandicoot at the moment? I think it's Activision? Well, whoever it is, it's a video game company, you know, there's not going to be a lot of issues with licensing or anything like that. Yeah, I honestly think Crash Bandicoot is like right up there, big move pool again. All the same reasons as all the others. It's a likelies. Rilla Boom. I've kind of already covered this, but Rilla Boom, I really like Rilla Boom. Not as much as I love Grookey, but he's my boy. But I just kind of feel that we've already got a large ape-like character, you know, in Donkey Kong being in there. I don't think it makes it impossible, and there are loads more moves that Rilla Boom could pull from that Donkey Kong couldn't, and realistically there's no real barrier, but at the same time, I get the feeling that the popularity isn't necessarily there for Rilla Boom, which is a crime, but it can't be ignored. Monster Hunter. Just a Monster Hunter from Monster Hunter. Pretty damn likely, I'd say. Not only have we already got Monster Hunter representation in Smash with the big swoopy swoo, the Rathalos coming down and everything, but we've also, you know, it's an enormous series, huge in Japan, huge over here as well, and also, there are so many things they could do. The move pool is colossal. And you know what they've done with like Byleth with the weapon and changing it? Yeah, do that. You know, have a gun lance and then you do all the sort of things. Think of the ults as well. My God, think of the ults. All the different armors. The Knight from Hallow Night. Honestly, not very likely. I love Hallow Night to death, and the move pool is enormous. The potential is there. But it's just a little bit too recent, and it is a small game. But you know what it is? It's a small indie game that's very hard. Cuphead is a Mii Fighter costume. I think it could be a Mii Fighter costume. God damn, this random list, the last three aren't very likely. Silex from Metroid. Not very likely, unfortunately, but I would love it to happen. I'd love it to be a left field inclusion, you know? Just throw it out there. Wow, new Metroid person, and with Metroid Prime 4 coming up, you know, Metroid Prime 4, Silex. Silex is a fairly integral part to, well, the end of a lot of Metroid Prime games, but he's not actually been in any proper, except Hunters. Remember Hunters? Sadly though, I just think he's too niche a character at the moment. I could be entirely wrong, and I'd love to be wrong, I really would, because Silex is a great character, but no. Breath of the Wild 2's Zelda. Yes, this is something that a lot of people have been saying with the short hair, you know, the bob cut and everything. It's a good look on Zelda. I know what you're thinking. Guy, we've already got a Zelda. Well, we've got 3 links. Mathematics. Sadly though, I just don't see it as terribly likely, and I couldn't really tell you why. There's so many other characters that I think are more, I hate to say it, more interesting, at least from a gameplay point of view. You know, we've already got a Zelda, so to include another one, well, it's the Fire Emblem route again. We've already got a sword fighter, but Byleth. By no means impossible, but my gut's saying no, and my gut knows what's up. And lastly, Spyro the Dragon. Nah. Spyro's really cool, and honestly, we could do with a few more quadrupeds, but I just don't think the Spyro is big enough, and the sort of the fans calling for it are all unsurprisingly, the Spyro fans, but generally always seems to be playing second fiddle to people asking for Crash Bandicoot, and I think they are basically in the same they're in the same running. It's going to be one or the other in my view. Probably not both, and I think Crash is just the infinitely more likely possibility. Again, it's just me gut. It's just me sizable gut. So to recap, the characters I think are most likely are Gino, Ring Fit's people, Dante from Devil May Cry, Rayman from Rayman, Toxicity from Pokemon, Waluigi from everything, and Monster Hunter from a game I can't remember the name of. And there are also a load of Mii Fighter costumes I think we'd see. Let's go through that. Sora, Master Chief, Travis Touchdown, Skull Kid, Sam Porter Bridges, Steve from Minecraft, Geralt from The Witcher, Doom Guy from The Dooms, and the Knight from Hallow Night. I think those are the most likely Mii Fighter costumes as well, because they're kind of smaller characters, or characters that maybe are a little bit too adult to be properly implemented, because they're a little bit too stabby or something, but they'd be absolutely perfect as a Mii Fighter costume, much like Altair is. Or indeed, Cuphead. But what do you think? Do you think I'm talking utter nonsense? It has happened before. Let us know down there in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you predict what that subscribe button's gonna do with absolutely no evidence whatsoever? And be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.